5 of the 7 suspects arrested in connection with the murders of a rapper AKA Kiernan Forbes, known as AKA, of course, as well as his friend Tebello Tibz Motsoane, will be making a court appearance today. They will be making their bail applications in the Durban Magistrates Court. Meanwhile, the extradition of 2 of the other accused, Siyabonga as well as Malusi Ndimande, has been moved to next Tuesday in Eswatini. This is pending the NPA submission for the relevant documents. Legal analyst Melusi Xulu is now joining us to have a discussion around this. Melusi, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. So we expect the 5 to appear in court today. We know that there are other 2 brothers related to the 2 brothers in Eswatini who have also been arrested. And I wonder, considering what has played out in Eswatini, if you'll find the other 2 brothers who will be appearing in court today in Durban, if they would want to apply bail, considering that the 2 in Eswatini are saying that once we are handed over, once the extradition is successful, they want to be handed over directly to correctional services officials because they fear abuse and assault from police.
Good morning, Alvin, and to the viewers at home. On the last part, I don't see how practical that is, because when you are arrested by the SAPS, and they have to charge you, they have to do a bail application and investigation. Once obviously you are convicted, then you'll be handed over to correctional services for you to deal with your sentence. So at this point, it's the SAPS that has to deal with the extradition process once it has succeeded. So I don't see them succeeding on that request. But as for the bail application, obviously today is for bail address verification. I believe, as you said, it's the 2 accused, because the 3 others, I believe they've been arrested and convicted for other crimes since last year. So what we're expecting today is for the matter to be postponed when the bail application address has been verified. And I'm very interested, Aldrin, in the bail process, because sometimes you do get juicy details on what is really happening in the case. So we will see in the next week or so when the bail application process starts.
Yeah. So what do we expect to happen today in court? And will the prosecutors give us more details in relation to the charges that the 5 accused are facing and how they're linked to the murders?
Yes. Today, like in every bail application, it's postponed for 7 days or less for the investigating officer to verify the address of that particular accused who's applying for bail, just to ensure that he's not a flight risk and so forth. So today, as the magistrate said, it will be just for that process. But in terms of details, when the bail application starts, which should be, I believe, on the 14th, I'm bound to be corrected on that note. But when the bail application starts, this is where the prosecution will say, this is what they are charged with. We obviously know it's premeditation of murder, but amongst other details. Then that is when we'll get more details, as I said earlier, the juicy details of the matter and how they are linked. Yeah.
There's already indication that the NPA or the state is set to oppose the bail application. Would there be any grounds, though, for the state to oppose a bail application successfully if it is found that the 2 other accused don't face any other charges, any other crime-related charges outside of the charges that they were initially arrested on?
Well, bail application is very interesting. It's a constitutional right of an accused. But if you go to the Criminal Procedure Act, it says if the accused is likely to be a flight risk, likely to interfere with the state witnesses and evidence, or if maybe there will be a public outcry and so forth, they might want to oppose bail. At this point, the only thing that is in my mind is that it's a Schedule 6 bail application if it's it's based on a premeditation of murder, which means they must prove exceptional reasons or circumstances why they want bail application. So I think the state will possibly just say it's a serious case, and I don't know how they will say they are a flight risk, except for the 2 that are in Swaziland. They might push that angle, but it will be clear why they might say they're a flight risk. Because if you remember, just want to compare cases, if you remember in the Dr. Nandipa case, it was clear she was a flight risk and that she could not be able to get bail, amongst other reasons. But they will obviously then give us more details when the bail application starts.
Okay, and let's go back to the matter in Eswatini. First of all, the state also saying that the exhibits that have been confiscated from the two accused, which are the cell phones, must be handed over to the state. And the argument there from their legal representative is there's no affidavit in front of the court for that.
Yeah, well, there must be something that comes from the police or the NPA in South Africa to say why they want to confiscate the phones. Remember, in South Africa, we also have a Section 205 application in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act, where the state or the IO can go to the networks in terms of cell phones to get more details and print out whatever information is in the cell phone. So I believe they are right in saying we can't just take cell phones. There must be some form of authority from the South African authorities. So I think they are right in that. But if you heard the magistrate at Manzini Magistrate Court at Eswatini, he said this process will be properly dealt with on the 12th of March. So I think they'll be laying their arguments and then we'll hear what the final decision will be.
Is it a fair assessment from some that it almost seems that the state is somewhat bungling up the case, considering that, one, there was the expectation that you will hear the extradition application, or at least the documents will be in front of the Manzini Magistrates Court, and also, two, this request for these exhibits to be handed over to the state in the absence of an affidavit?
Yeah, look, they've had, if what we've had is correct, they've had a year since April last year where they've been slowly investigating and slowly getting their evidence. So you would expect that they have their ducks in order, so to speak. In terms of the extradition, we already have an extradition agreement with Eswatini, Kingdom of Eswatini. So not to say the process is fast, but it shouldn't be much of a problem if you compare it to, again, the Nandipa case where we didn't have an extradition with Eswatini. And in terms of affidavits for requesting cell phones to be confiscated, it's been almost a week, and Eswatini is not that far. I'm sure the officials should have dealt with those things, but then obviously it's going to be postponed to the 12th of March, and maybe by then they'll deal with it. I know that Advocate Elaine Harrison in Durban is dealing with that process. I'm sure she should make sure that she deals with it, because maybe there is anxiety on the fans and the people who are concerned and supporting AKA, but it's a process at the end of the day, Eldrin, and I'm sure as time goes, everything will be in order. But my concern is that, it's been almost a year they've been slowly investigating, so you will expect that some things are not much of a problem, especially if I may just add for a second the fact that the mastermind or the person who sent the killers has not been arrested. But maybe that's a topic that will unfold as the bail application is done and as the investigation proceeds.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. That is Melusi Xulu, who is a managing director at Donda Attorneys, speaking about the 5 accused who will be appearing in court today in the Magistrates Court in Durban, and this is on the murder of AKA, that is AKA Forbes, as well as his friend Tebello Tibz Motsoane, and the 2 brothers, of course. Will they be applying for bail this morning?